Oh, weird.
Just wait. We might be going live already now.
Oh, we're live now.
Are we live now? What do you think?
We're alive.
We
We're
are
alive now.
alive. So, hello everybody. Thanks for joining another Mondates with the Mendozas. Did we have one last week?
No, because we were at the beach.
Don't tell. We were out. And we are going to talk about something that is very impromptu. Because we
All
have
these
been...
Mondays are impromptu.
But this one is probably the most impromptu. I've been so busy doing so many things. So Joe was like, so what are we going to talk about? I'm like, well, what do you want to talk about? And this is what we're going to talk about.
I said, why don't we demonstrate how you correct me when I am not being spirit-filled as a wife, right? When you feel like there's issues.
Spirit-filled, big words.
Okay, when you feel like there are issues in my life, in my heart, in my manner, in my behavior that you need addressing. So what's a loving way to do that? So demonstrate now, for example, because I know you're upset with something in me right now. So why don't you just demonstrate how it actually gets done? And I will eat chips and watch this whole video of you doing it.
So you need to change. Like, just kidding. Let's go direct. Approach number 1, right? Like, you need to change. Here's the problem with you. Obviously, that's not the approach I did. So the specific context is, I've been observing Joy. You know, we've been going back and forth in different activities, and which is why we missed last Monday to take a breather, be with family, get some good sun. And I've just been observing how Joy was getting a little, well, not a little, but more irritable than usual, snappy or short-fused. Seems more like what I would do, versus what she would do. So today, it's a date night. We were walking around, and I said, hey, tell me when you're ready to talk. So that's approach number 2. Tell me when you're ready to talk.
So what's the... Okay, this is
approach number 1 is direct, say you need to change. Number 2 is...
This is the better one. This is the right one.
We have a system, right? So our system is every date night, we have a chance to ask each other how we can improve. Usually, I will ask how I can improve, and you will ask how you can improve. But because it was getting very busy, I did a creative approach, and I said, tell me when you want to talk.
Which already means...
It's my code for...
Means that I'm problematic, and you need to tell me why I'm problematic, which is fine. It's fine. So go ahead and tell me what's the problem.
So when you say that you're problematic, it becomes very like generic. The main thing really is, I wanted to address that. I wanted to address the fact that why is it that she's been so irritable and snappy? So, you know, the Bible says live with your wives in an understanding way. And the Bible says, you know, in Ephesians, let no unwholesome word proceed from your mouth, right? We've talked about this in our Mondays. So I'm thinking, how do I word it well so that it is godly? Because it's really bothering me, you know, that she's been very snappy, irritable, even towards me a while ago. She's in front of the kids. And, you know, it really bothers me when she's like that, especially in front of the kids. Oh, at the table, at lunch. I was like, hey, you're like, no. I'm like,
I said
just
that?
back off. Just gonna back
Did I
off.
say that a while ago at lunch?
Yes.
Wait, what was the context?
So that's why I'm like, hey, I need to talk to this person.
No, wait, what was the context of that?
You became third party to me. This person. And so that's what I wanted to talk to you about earlier. I talked about how I felt like you have been more edgy, more than usual. And your response is, because it's still an ongoing, it's actually an ongoing conversation.
This is real, live, unedited, unfiltered version of a talk that we may actually have.
That we are having.
Oh, we are having.
You were giving me a little bit. You said maybe you're bothered by, you're concerned that...
First of all, I want to say there's no excuse. If I've been irritable, if I've been snappy, if I've been on edge, if I've been more reactive, there's no excuse. And it is wrong, and I want to ask for your forgiveness.
This is not how you usually respond.
Yeah, but it's because I have to
we're on
demonstrate
Mondays.
The right way to do it, and then I will show you what's really happening in my heart. But that would be the right way, right? Like, will you forgive me for acting that way? Because it's wrong.
Yes.
Great, we're done. Okay.
No.
So I will explain to you why, but I think you know a little bit of it, and it's not an excuse, right? I'm not excusing my behavior. The reason why I have to apologize first is because I don't want to excuse my behavior. But for me, it's probably a combination of factors. And I think for the women out there, it's usually a combination of factors. So,
Factor one.
I'm stressed out with homeschooling because I don't know if I'm doing a good job. I don't know if the kids are really learning well, and I feel like I am to blame when they're not doing excellently or they don't get things. And I'm disappointed with myself when I get irritated and impatient with them. So I'm also wrestling with that. Like, how do I process homeschooling them positively? Because I didn't used to be as irritable, but now I get more irritable when I'm homeschooling the kids. So how can I still be spirit-filled and kind to the kids when I'm so aggravated sometimes because they can't get certain things? So I'm dealing with that, and they're just, it's like 6 kids. I feel like they're all around me, all over me, all the time. And then I have Kaylee, who up to now, and this is probably one of my more stressful things, Kaylee up till now is not sleep trained. Of all our children, she has been the worst in terms of sleep training. Usually they're trained by 6 months. Kaylee is almost 3 years old, and she will still, whether she's sleeping in another room or sleeping in our room on the weekends, she will still come to my bed and wake me up in the middle of the night and say she wants milky time or just want to be beside me, and so that interrupts my sleep so I don't get quality sleep. So once again, I'm not saying that these are excuses, but these are some factors that are contributing to me being not as calm.
Right. I think part of how we like to explain is we give a reason, but it's not an excuse. There's a difference, right? So help understand why it's.
Because I want you to understand me, but I'm not excusing wrong behavior, because being irritated, being snappy, being on edge is still wrong, no matter what.
Now, as Joy's sharing this, I'll be honest with you. My temptation is to give a solution. I have like 5 solutions in my head, and I want to say something, but because we're trying to show how to do it, I'm just being quiet. I'm listening first. Is this helping you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
Okay.
Good. So the second would be Kaylee and sleep habits.
And the third thing I think is Elijah leaving.
This is really, maybe we should have had this conversation before this
in
Monday.
private. So we can talk about that more later. But I think, of course, that's affecting me. I think emotionally as a mom. Fair. So let's move on.
You don't want to process it. So those are the 3 factors that are affecting you, which is why you're becoming more edgy, more snappy, because you haven't been able to process these things.
Maybe there's certain fears in my heart that I'm, by God's grace, I'm not afraid of COVID. By God's grace, we already had COVID. But I think maybe there's other fears there, right? Maybe I'm afraid that my kids are not going to be okay as I homeschool them. And secondly, I'm afraid about my health because Kaylee, because of her, I'm not able to get quality sleep. So it does make my immunity go down. And then I'm concerned about Elijah and what's going to happen when he leaves, and the dynamic, how it's going to change. So maybe those things. I need to reframe, and I need to focus on, the Lord and my walk with Him, and making sure that I'm really filled with Him rather than just kind of moving on from one activity to the other without addressing some of these root concerns that I have. And so it's leaking out.
I just have to comment and say, I like how you said my kids.
Did I say my
your kids? Yeah. That's okay. They are your kids.
When they disobey, they're your kids. No, did I say my kids? I don't use that. Really?
You did. You said my. Anyway, so.
Our kids.
So what I'm hearing from you is what will help you maybe avoid being as irritable and edgy is to maybe process these things first. Maybe we can go one by one. Do you want me to help you process these things?
Yeah, maybe later in private, I think, because you'll ask questions and we don't want to bore everybody here. But this is really a serious example.
This is how, right?
This is really a live example of how Edric and I have conversations when we're trying to deal with issues between us. And I'll be honest, sometimes I'm not as calm, right? By God's grace, I don't think that we shout at each other, but there are times when he's trying to correct me and I'm being defensive and I'm trying to
Let's show that. Let's change the tone. So let's go.
No, but this is a real conversation right now.
Okay. But you said we're going to... So what is important in these conversations is there has to be some form of closure or resolution, right? So as Joy shared, we will unpack this after Mondays, meaning after this call, and we'll try and talk about it privately, those 3 areas, and maybe how you can help address them so it's not festering. I think what you're saying is it's festering and therefore it's leaking out, right?
Yeah.
This is why you get edgy, because there's some inner
Unrest,
turmoil,
unrest.
if you will, right, beneath the surface. So since we will settle that later, would you want to show what is the other way of how confrontations happen?
You mean the wrong way?
Or how else we would?
Okay, we can do this. Okay, go. So let's say you tell me now.
So I'm like, hey, I'm observing that you're irritable and you want to talk about this.
Yeah, sure, we can talk about it. What do you want to say?
Why does it seem like you're already irritable now? Like you don't really want to talk about it?
I don't know. I guess I'm just dealing with stuff. But honestly, you are also pretty irritating.
Me?
Yeah.
So why is it suddenly about me? I just wanted to ask about
I'm
you.
just saying that, if you're going to call out certain things about me, I just want you to know that there's also some things that I want to say about you.
Well, if this is how it's even going to be, I can't even tell you about you, then let's not even talk about it. I can't believe you're actually flipping it and making it about me now.
No, I'm not flipping it, and you don't have to be so defensive.
I'm not defensive.
Yeah, what?
I'm not
Okay,
defensive.
just for the record, this is pretend, okay? This is pretend.
I am not defensive, yeah.
Huh?
So
what? So you were the one that said you wanted to resolve it, so are we going to resolve it?
yeah, but I think it's important if we're going to do this, then,
Fine, just say it. What? Go.
This is almost very real. So
Yeah,
I'm trying
we're
to go
showing.
back. Okay, let's go. I'll go back in character. No, forget it. I'm not gonna talk to you if you're gonna be this way to me. It's really disrespectful. We talked about this. I mean, you
Babe,
even
please,
talked about
you
this.
are
We had a
being
talk
so-
very recently about being respectful, and
I
you're not
know,
being respectful
But
right
you're
now.
being
So
so sensitive. This is not even equivalent to disrespect.
see,
Seriously.
and if we ask our kids who see this right
Wait,
now,
I'm bringing up the kids. The kids have
we talk
nothing
about
to do with this.
we talk about the manner and then the substance, right? You mean well, but the manner in which you're saying is completely disrespectful to me. So why will I even want to talk to you about this right now?
Okay, fine. We can
And this
talk
is even
that
about
another
you.
time.
So if you don't want to talk about it, then let's not
No,
talk
okay,
about
fine.
it.
So just say it. So
I have
what do
other
I
things to do. There are more important things in my life.
You don't have to say that.
No,
You
but
don't have
it's
to add
just
that.
true. I'm just saying.
But I'm just saying you don't have to add that because that doesn't sound nice.
Well, everything we've said doesn't sound nice so far. I mean, if that's
They're gonna believe this is a real conversation.
so.
Wait,
So-
we better just make sure that they understand that this is just a fake conversation. Okay.
So
All right.
what are we modeling, right? Obviously,
The first one was the right way.
So let's recap. If you
Yeah.
want to have hard conversations, you want to confront. The Bible says a gentle answer turns
Turns
away
away
wrath. So if I see something in you, I need to come calmly and
Yeah.
approach and say, hey, you want to talk
So
about
the approach
this?
matters.
The
In
approach
other words,
matters.
what you said was very good. We were walking casually in the mall, and then you said, "Hey,
You let me know.
you let me
When you're
know
ready.
when you're ready."
Timing matters.
So timing matters.
Mhm.
So you're giving the person the opportunity to prepare themselves
Mhm.
for the conversation,
Mhm.
right? So I already knew when you said that. Okay, I've got to, I've got to prepare my heart because I know he's going to correct me, and then I have to be in the right frame of mind, and the environment has to be correct. So and then you said, I noticed, and it was a very
So
non-threatening
she
way.
responded, right? So when you said, sure, I'm ready to talk about it, then I'm like, okay, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
So then I asked questions. That's usually a very helpful tip, is don't go away and just jump in and say, you. I said, well, I've observed, so what do you think?
Yeah.
Right? I ask questions.
Yeah.
Um,
Because when you use words like that, right? I've observed.
observed. Yes, that's correct. Observed. Yeah.
After COVID, my brain is really.
That's not the point.
Yeah,
So, and
okay.
you stick to it, right? That's obviously important.
Okay, I've observed, I've noticed.
Yeah. And then I ask questions.
And then you
Yeah.
ask questions, and then you gave me the opportunity to express.
And I listen.
But I also had to say, you know what, you're right. I have been more irritable. I have been reactive, and it's not okay. There's nothing that can excuse that because no matter what, that's wrong. So will you forgive me for that? But can I also explain to you? That's what I said, right? Can I also explain to you what's been going on
Sure.
in my heart? Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And obviously it matters that you're not emotional, right?
Yes.
Because if we're both worked up and emotional, then it just gets
Yes.
all sorts of ugly.
Okay, so I think that we're gonna resolve. I mean,
we're gonna go and resolve this now.
I've already asked for your forgiveness, but you said that we're gonna just talk about the things that I expressed to you that I'm dealing with. So we're gonna talk about that in private because that's private. But we just wanted to demonstrate to you guys how to have a conversation with your spouse if you're concerned about something. And it's always hard sometimes to approach your spouse because sometimes the timing's not right, or sometimes you're irritated, or your spouse is also not okay spiritually, emotionally. So first you really have to set the stage for it. And I think, of course, you pray, right?
And just listen. I think one of the important
Like I
things
know
for us
you've been
guys,
praying for me.
yeah, for us guys is to listen. At that point when you started talking about it, just listen, right? My tendency is to give solutions and to try and resolve it right away. But I think if I just listen first, and then you're finally done, right? You've expressed it, then I can come in and you're more receptive to me now, giving advice or my thoughts.
Okay.
Yeah? That good? Okay. So that's it for today. We will get back to you guys. I will not get back to you. We'll be with you guys again next week. In the meantime, we will resolve this. All right. So thanks for joining us, guys. Hope that quick bit was helpful for you. That demo. We now need to make it real and resolve it. So
I just want to say on a side note, and no, this is not a sponsor or anything like that. But if you haven't yet tasted these, like, these are seriously one of my favorite chips, okay? And no, this is not a sponsored thing, but I just want to share with you my joy and delight because these are so yummy.
So that's like an added tip Joy is sharing. You need to have some social lubricants, something to kind of help you guys discuss things and kind of ease the tension.
Food is a social lubricant.
Is a social lubricant, right? So it's like breaking the tension. You know, you work your own thing. So, free tip.
Okay, guys.
Thanks, guys. Bye,
Catch
everybody.
you next week.